Hi there everyone, it's me, the Otaku. Today, I've watched some more anime, mostly Bang Dream, second season, episode 2. Now, interestingly enough, I didn't think I would be really making a video about this episode because episode 1 was very interesting. I'll give it that. I'll praise the anime a lot because it does a lot of very different things that I don't experience from the Bang Dream game and the first season, but this episode was just fire, and as a ROSELIA fanboy, you know how I felt when they did that shit. So, leaving off from episode 1, we start off with, I believe the new character's name is Rika, yes, the one who's like a super fan girl for Pop Party, and she works at Galaxy. I don't know what her role is, but I thought she was the new Marina-san from the game, like the manager, but I guess not. I think she wants to be in a band? So I have a huge hypothesis, but I'll leave that for the end. So essentially, the announcement last episode about ROSELIA doing their own performance or sponsoring their own show or live or whatever, right? That was cool. And then in this episode, we just sort of have Poppin' Party sort of like announce that they wanted to do a show too. I was like why? Like, why do you want to do a show just because ROSELIA did one? I'm just like, whatever. That's how costuming works, right? And then they're just like, okay, so what would we do for an actual show? And I'm pretty sure they did a freaking Girls Band Party Pico reference because they were like, here's an idea, let's do our stage. And then we're flying in the stage, and I was just like, I feel like I've seen that somewhere. And the Girls Band Pico short thing is very funny if you like the Girls Band Party games, so be sure to watch that. So yeah, they do that, and then just like, go off their merry way, and then essentially that's it. You just have them do the live, and you have Poppin' Party get outshadowed by ROSELIA. Now, honestly, let's put this into an honest perspective. If you play the game, Girls Band Party, that's exactly what the game's called. I was about to say something else. If you play the game, then you have to admit, right, out of all the 5 different bands in the game, right, ROSELIA is probably one of the top, like, in terms of professionalism and quality, right? Afterglow, who I would, well, actually, you can argue that Pastel Palettes is higher in terms of quality and professionalism because they're an actual idol group, but that doesn't, like, okay, forget them, but no, ROSELIA practice all the freaking time, and they're always super serious about this shit, and their quality of their music is good, and their fan base is freaking excellent. Everyone thinks about ROSELIA how good they are because they put in the effort and practice into doing music. The second close maybe would be Pastel Palettes. The third, well, I wouldn't say Hello Happy World, not Happy World, Afterglow. Afterglow, their music is mostly the same as always, right? Their childhood friend band, they're there doing, let me lower this down a bit because I am sort of lower. Anyways, Afterglow sort of does the band thing with their childhood friends, the same as always. They don't really think too much about it. Hello Happy World does whatever they want, They write songs to be happy, smile, and spread happiness in the world. Poppin' Party, on the other hand, is somewhat there. Like, they have a very special or certain, like, attraction to their band and music that Yukina sees, but in terms of, like, professionalism and quality, is not the same level. So they have Poppin' Party sort of play as a subgroup, or like a, what do you call those, like, things, like as a warm-up band, for ROSELIA. And yeah, like, they use the same song from first episode, which was like, just kind of iffed me a bit, like, you have lots of songs, feel free to use them. But no, they use Happy Party again, which is like, and of course people enjoyed it, but then when ROSELIA came on, oh my goodness, I was the crowd with my glow sticks and shit. I'm just like, yes, ROSELIA's on, this is the shit I came here for. Like, they're the main attraction, right? And a lot of people come in to see ROSELIA, and then when, like, people were, like, the warm-up bands were there, and Poppin' Party was there, it was a smaller crowd. Everyone came to see ROSELIA, because it was a show, technically, sure, but, everyone just, I guess, ROSELIA is more popular. And that just sort of makes Poppin' Party realize something, that their bands are really different, and it sort of brings this sole concern and thing about their actual band and their quality of performance and music, which honestly I didn't think would happen, but I guess it's sort of a thing. So, I need to catch my breath for a second. Whew, talking for not taking a break. Anyways, so yeah, after the episode, or at the end of the episode, essentially, the whole concert was a success. It was great. You have the Pop and Party girls just sort of realize that, oh, you know, like, you guys really did great, and you know, we're like, you guys are leagues ahead away of us, and we gotta practice more before we actually do our sponsored show, which we'll do eventually. Yeah. And you know, you can just be like straightforward with all the things, like, you know, is it really meaningful? Like do you really have to do a sponsored show? Like, what's the point? You know? And this sort of brings in, so this brings to question about how, one of the things that I see a lot in Love Live, or just any show in general, I guess, is what do you do afterwards, per se, yes? So, what I really liked about this episode was that in the beginning, you see Pop and Party sort of discussing how they're going to do this sponsored live show, right? Except when you actually have the band meet up during lunch and stuff, you quickly have them split up, because ROSELIA has student council, the other girls have to go to PE class and get changed and stuff. And in this show, I'm just like, wait a minute. You rarely see the band like together, and then when they're trying to make it schedules fit and stuff, they don't have a lot of times. And I'm just like, ooh, this is getting into Love Live territory where, you know, as they go in further in their years, like, they have less time to spend with each other, and they don't know what the future of their band and like their whole thing is. And I'm just like, oh gosh, we're going into that territory. And it's a valid territory, we'll give it that, because honestly, all these characters in the BanG Dream series play as a band, and like in the game, it's like an eternity, because you go through so many events over the years, and just like, you know, what happens after that? There's no answer to that, because if there was an end to the series, then the BanG Dream Girls party game would end, right? And stuff like that. But since the second season is somewhat past the girls band party game, they're getting closer to the end a lot. So you have like Remy's sister going overseas into college or something like that, and then you have all the other girls like now second years, and then their third years, and I'm just like, so what's gonna happen if they, you know, graduate? Will they continue being in the band? And that's what I'm seeing here, or sensing from this episode, because Pop and Party rarely has time to meet up, and then ROSELIA is just like super like into like their music and stuff, and performing and making actual live shows and sponsoring them. So I'm just like, ROSELIA, in my opinion, from this series, like, they have the potential to actually continue as a band, in my opinion, out of everyone else. Pastel Palettes is a job, so they're honestly set, I guess. Afterglow is an interesting band to think about, because they just made the band to stay together as a group of friends. So will they do that afterwards? That's a good question, you know. Pop and Party, I don't know what Pop and Party's gonna do, because they just sort of did the band thing for fun. Kasumi literally picked up the guitar because she wanted to do something she saw that playing music and singing was very shiny and stuff like that, and they made the band. That was it. They don't really have a goal to work towards because in season 1, they wanted to play at Space, which they did. Girls Band Party, there's no exact goal. This season, they want to do a sponsored show. I guess that's the goal. But like, Pop and Party versus ROSELIA as a band, in terms of like their seriousness and their quality, is way different. And that's sort of the thing that I like when they actually compare the bands in Girls Band Party. Sure, they have their own unique traits, but in terms of professionalism and stuff like that, ROSELIA is probably up in the top. Next to Pastel Palettes, you can argue which one's higher or lower, but that's what I liked about this episode, because now they're just like trying to, I guess, improve themselves to be on the same level as ROSELIA for their sponsored show. And I also think that they're hinting, I forgot the name of the other band, but it's called Raise the Sullen, I think. I can't exactly remember the band name for sure, but there's this character in the crowd who's wearing the cat headphones, so I'm just like, oh, you're CGI, you look quite important, I guess. And she's just looking at the bands, and when she sees Pop and Party's performance, she seems very displeased. When she sees ROSELIA's performance, she's like, oh my gosh, this band is the shit. right? And I don't remember for sure, because I see a bunch of like tweets and social media and stuff, that there's like characters for like another sub band called ROSELIA. I don't know exactly what the deal is with this band, but I do know that they have their own music and they have their own like sort of CDs out there. I'll probably do research on them later, but I feel that this character is, or at least in this series, they can introduce this band, the ROSELIA band, because Pop Party and ROSELIA in real life and their anime counterparts, they have something like that for this group. I'm sorry, I had a lot of pocky, so I had to burp. But they're introducing this band in their anime debut, and they're gonna bring them into the season, which is my idea, because I'm like, the other character who worked at Galaxy, Rika, the one who's friends with Kasumi's sister, I'm pretty sure she wants to be in a band. And then you have this girl over there with the cat headphones looking at the bands and being inspired. Or, you know what, they can do an original second season anime band. That's totally a possibility. And you have like other bands besides Pop Party that were there doing the warm-up entry show thing for ROSELIA. I'm just like, I don't know who these bands are, but they could be a thing. Glitter Green is another good example because they had 1 to 2 songs in the first season. They're in the game, the Girls Band Party game, but you know, Glitter Green's not like a thing per se, but they do have a few songs. It's one of those sort of things, which opens a lot of possibilities for the second season. And I think the third episode, I don't know exactly what they would do for the third episode, because they just got like the truth smackdown from Yukino. Just like, is there a point for you guys to do this live show? I don't know, we'll see. But if anything, I like it when this season is exploring this character development, because they're nearing towards a future where all the band members might not be able to meet up anymore and practice together, and they don't know what they're gonna do in the future, if they'll still be in a band and do music as a career or not. Except I can sort of see that for ROSELIA and Pastel Palettes, because why not? So anyways, talking for quite some time now, but that was a good episode, I must say. For a second episode, the first half was like kind of meh, and then they had like them play Happy Party, which is like, you know, oh actually, ROSELIA gets the Brave Jewel opening in the beginning of this episode, so congrats on them. And then they, you know, Pop Party played Happy Party, and then they played Black Shout, classic, freaking first song. And then they have the new ED song, I forgot what that one's called, I think it's like Safe and Sound. That comes out like February, so can't really listen to it, unfortunately, but I do get a preview of it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, this episode was overall pretty great, I must say. There wasn't a lot of appearances by the other bands, surprisingly. We'll see how that factors in. Well, they're not like, there are like, what do you call those? Like tidbits of the other bands in this series. They're not like left out, but they're not like heavily involved. Maybe we'll see them do guest appearances for Pop Party stage show thing, or sponsor show. Who knows, but honestly, at this point, it would be sort of weird for them not to incorporate every single band in the series, because you already showed them in the first episode. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, that's just episode 2. Episode 2. So we'll see how that goes in the future of the series. Although I must say I'm quite impressed with this episode. Another thing, actually, I feel like I'm not always done. They didn't fully use CGI, I must say. Like in some parts of the anime, you see normal people in CGI, and then you see normal people in 2D, and then you have everyone in this anime CGI. One of the best examples was when they go to Circle, because they actually showed Circle in this anime, so that was hella funny. You know, Girls Band Party reference. You see Marina at the counter, and it's like, hey, why aren't you doing your show here? You know, you could sponsor and bring your friends and, you know, bring some customers in. And she was in 2D. I'm just like, oh my gosh. You know, it's like, I thought everyone was going to be in CGI, but I mean, I guess not. And it just sort of makes the distinction very clear, you know? I mean, if everyone's in CGI, then you don't see a problem, I guess. But they're background people, so I guess that works in a sense, because you can tell who the main people are and who are in CGI, and then the side people who are in the 2D. Whatever, that's just another tidbit and an Easter egg I saw in this episode. Anyways, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. This is like 15 minutes already, oh my gosh. And what do you guys think about this episode? Who's the better band? Cough cough, you know, this was a ROSELIA episode. it would be actually interesting if the next episode is like an Afterglow, and then a Pastel Palettes, and then a Happy World. Just a thought, just saying. Anyways, yeah, leave your thoughts on this episode and who your favorite band is, what you think about it, and what you think about the music, I guess. Until then, I'll see you guys later for potentially episode 3. We'll see how it goes. And I have to do more videos for Promised Neverland and the quintessential quintuplets. Yes, I'm gonna be looking forward to that. Anyways, see you guys later. Take you guys. Matane. One of my... Someone's freaking racing outside the neighborhood. What the hell? If you heard that, then that's what I do with every night.